I think so.
You do at 80.
Yeah, I think part of this was Bitcoin seasonally was just not going to be attractive until after March ends, and now we're finally exiting March, and so I think not only is the calendar looking better, but as you're saying, Fed and central banks are easing, QT's ending. I think that with positive Washington sort of tailwinds means I think Bitcoin can do well to the end of the year.
While the market grapples with headlines about tariffs, inflation, and Fed policy, Tom Lee is delivering a starkly different message. Bitcoin may have already hit its bottom, and the stage is set for a breakout. Known for accurately predicting major crypto moves in the past, Lee believes a powerful shift is imminent, not next year or months from now. Behind the scenes, sentiment is gradually reversing, technical indicators are strengthening, and a robust blend of macro factors is coming together. Perhaps most notably, the overlooked element of time is now working in Bitcoin's favor, as seasonal trends appear to be turning.
Yeah, I mean, both. I mean, obviously it doesn't feel this way because over the weekend futures came under pressure, but we know markets are really oversold. We know that investors have had a lot of de-risking. And this week, I think into April 2nd, investors have three things on their minds. One is they just don't know what the tariffs look like. They don't know if it's going to damage the economy. And I think third, many are just a little terrified of the policies of the White House. But post Wednesday, I think markets are going to have some visibility, and that allows us to take some of the selling pressure off. So yes, I think it's possible that instead of us breaking down here and seeing markets under further pressure, we're actually got the right pieces for a bottom.
During periods of peak fear, markets often reach a turning point. Tom Lee's emphasis on April 2nd is deliberate. It's when multiple uncertainties, particularly regarding tariffs, begin to clear. Markets thrive on clarity, and as it emerges, a shift towards risk-on sentiment can swiftly follow. Lee observes that the current climate is brimming with latent potential. Beyond the broader stock market, he's also monitoring Bitcoin, which frequently serves as a barometer of investor confidence and may be on the verge of a significant rise.
Bitcoin's testing recent near-term lows, I guess, again. It's been under 80. It's not quite there yet. It definitely is a risk-off trade, and when the NASDAQ goes down, Bitcoin seems to go down. But it also really likes the idea of more Fed rate cuts or the Fed being more lenient. So if we get that on Friday, is this a decent time to be stacking?
Bitcoin has closely mirrored broader risk sentiment, but its responses to macroeconomic shifts are notably swift, especially when markets anticipate interest rate cuts. In such scenarios, Bitcoin doesn't merely recover. It often experiences significant surges. With the conclusion of quantitative tightening, QT, and the Federal Reserve adopting a more dovish stance, cryptocurrencies could benefit from a stronger tailwind than many expect. Additionally, political developments, such as the return of pro-crypto leadership in the US, are poised to play a significant role in shaping this evolving Bitcoin narrative.
Part of the reason we have stayed constructive on Bitcoin is the price is following closely the prior halving cycles. The halving cycle, for your viewers, is when the block reward gets cut in half. That happened earlier this year. So there's a reduction in new supply. And the sweet spot of that price gain as supply is cut starts to happen towards the end of this year and then into next year. And I think that has supported why we expected Bitcoin to be 100,000. And over the next 12 months, I think something over 250,000 is possible, but maybe highly probable based on just following this price cycle.
Bitcoin's price dynamics are influenced not only by macroeconomic policies and market mechanics, but also by its inherent halving cycle. Historically, each halving event, where the reward for mining new blocks is halved approximately every 4 years, has led to significant price increases. For instance, the first halving in 2012 saw Bitcoin's price surge from around $12 to over $1,000 within a year. Similarly, the 2016 and 2020 halvings were followed by substantial price appreciations, reinforcing the pattern of post-halving growth. As we enter the current halving cycle, some analysts predict not just a recovery but substantial expansion, with projections setting $100,000 as a baseline and considering $250,000 a plausible target. These forecasts are underpinned by the anticipated supply constraints imposed by the halving, coupled with increasing demand. Adding another dimension to this outlook is the evolving stance of governments towards Bitcoin. Notably, in March 2025, U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve, aiming to position the United States as a leader in the cryptocurrency domain. This initiative reflects a broader trend of governmental acceptance and integration of digital assets into national financial strategies. Such institutional endorsement could further bolster Bitcoin's legitimacy and adoption, potentially driving its value higher. In summary, Bitcoin's internal halving mechanism, combined with shifting governmental policies towards embracing digital currencies, sets the stage for potential significant price movements in the near future.
The second reason I think Bitcoin has maybe more upside than that is because the new administration has run on a pro-Bitcoin platform. And I think that the possibility of the US not only legitimizing Bitcoin, but making it a strategic reserve asset, I think raises what would be the possible price scenarios for Bitcoin. Because if the US government, as they intend, ultimately gets to 1 million Bitcoin, they'll be the largest holder of Bitcoin in the world. And they'd exert enormous positive influence on legitimizing Bitcoin.
If the United States were to begin accumulating Bitcoin as a strategic asset, the resulting surge in demand would be unparalleled. Such institutional and governmental support could propel Bitcoin into an entirely new pricing paradigm. Coupled with the strengthening dominance of the US dollar through forthcoming stablecoin legislation, the long-term case for Bitcoin's appreciation becomes even more compelling.
I think we have a lot of what I would call spooled energy. You know, investors can't stay this bearish. The VIX can't stay this anxious. There is a lot of firepower and dry powder on the sidelines, and I think businesses can't stay cautious forever. I mean, once they know the ground rules, I think they're going to actually start making decisions.
Tom Lee's thesis centers on the abundance of dry powder, capital poised for deployment, and the numerous factors primed to drive markets higher. While Bitcoin is known for its volatility, it remains the asset that reprices most swiftly when sentiment shifts. The underlying energy is present, merely awaiting release.
So I think that the odds of a V-shaped recovery in stocks that come after April 2 is just extremely high, because we've already sequenced a lot of the panic that people saw in 2018. I think it's already taken place.
Let's take a moment to recap. According to Tom Lee, the case for a Bitcoin breakout is not only plausible but is intensifying, akin to a pressure cooker. Factors contributing to this include oversold conditions, an accommodating Federal Reserve policy, a favorable halving cycle, and potential institutional adoption from Washington, all aligning to create a conducive environment for a surge. Lee identifies April 2nd as a pivotal point, after which he anticipates increased clarity and confidence returning to the market. As sentiment shifts, Bitcoin, with its history of supply cuts, momentum, and sensitivity to macroeconomic factors, could be the first to experience a significant rise.
I think it's still 150 or higher is possible.
Okay.
I know it doesn't feel like it, but once we get through this tariff and that agenda around tariffs, markets can look forward to things that could be positive.
Do you believe Bitcoin has reached its lowest point, signaling the onset of a historic surge? Or do you anticipate unexpected developments ahead? Share your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching.